The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, met on Friday, 15th February 2019, and reviewed its preparations for the 2019 general elections, scheduled for Saturday, 16th February 2019, and Saturday, 5th March 2019. Following
It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbin Minds. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiuchendu. Yes, that was the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, there at about 2 a.m. on Saturday, the 16th of February, telling Nigerians that the elections had been postponed by a week. For a lot of us, it's still very hard to take in. He did hold a press briefing, or whatever he called it, a couple of hours later at 2 p.m., and trying to explain away why the postponement was necessary. But for a lot of people, it still left more questions than answers. And a lot has been said in the last couple of hours with regards to how much money has been wasted, how much of a trust people still have in the system, and especially the commission, to hold the elections, first of all, on time, on the 23rd of February, and also how credible things are going to be now, because people are not even sure materials that were already distributed are at the moment, but the commission has assured Nigerians that things are still going to move on smoothly. But that is very thin for a lot of people, because there were also assurances before the 16th that everything would hold according to plan. Quite a lot to talk about on the show today. We're going to be talking to people who are registered voters. I'm going to have a politician on the show as well, and of course talking to members of the National Youth Service Corps to also give us the experience, because we have come across a lot of pictures and images that are quite disturbing with regards to young Nigerians who were supposed to be ad hoc staff of the INEC, who have been treated pretty much as, I don't even know what word to use to qualify them, but it's just been very disheartening. And considering that 189 billion naira was sort of earmarked for this entire election, it looks at people, a lot of people wondering, what was that for, and why can't we get things done properly? We're going to start our conversation here right now. I have here with me Wale Oshunde, who's a legal practitioner, and I want to believe a registered voter.
Absolutely.
Are you still as upset as I am?
I am very, very upset. I am very, very upset. I'm really disappointed in INEC. And the truth is, I mean, we had 4 years to plan for this. We had 4 years. And most annoying of all, the announcement came while we were all sleeping. I mean, 2:45 a.m. on election day. I mean, why wait till that final moment before you make this announcement? I mean, and you kept assuring Nigerians that, look, we are ready, everything is fine. Friday. I'm telling you. So I strongly feel that this announcement, a lot of us actually said that, look, INEC is not ready. And there is nothing bad in saying that, look, we still need, a few more weeks to put everything in shape, in good shape, so that we can have credible elections. But you do not even wait till a day to election, 24 hours to election, before you make that very big decision. I mean, you add all these planned up, and then you have people working with you, giving you reports on a daily basis, in fact, on an hourly basis, and then you should have actually done this a long time ago. And you don't just come and wake up one morning and then you feel that, okay, yes, Nigerians who are expecting to elect new leaders would just take it with, a chill pill, and then they'll go to sleep just like that. I mean, things don't work like this in proper, structured societies. In distinct climes, it should not be like this.
I'm trying really hard to not get my emotions in the way, because I was trying to be as objective and give him the benefit of the doubt. But there was a certain arrogance, to be honest, yesterday with his press briefing at 2 p.m. A couple of the people in the audience had stood up to tell him that he hadn't apologized to Nigerians. Who were the most important people he should be addressing in all of this? Nigerians, like we've said, so many people have talked about people traveling across the country, businesses shut down. I have family in the village right now who travel to go vote. Are they going to be there for a week? There were so many people who were inconvenienced by all of this. People were already at the polling booths even before they heard that this thing wasn't happening. But there were questions about, okay, you've still not said you're sorry to Nigerians, and he didn't feel like that was important. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not going to fix anything, but empathy didn't seem to come across at all with all of this.
And I'm also disappointed because they didn't do much in that direction. I agree with you completely. I mean, it should be a situation where you say you're sorry like a million times to Nigerians. I mean, these are people who have spent money, resources that, you know, they actually had to work so hard to make. And a lot of people traveled. And you see, like I said it before now, a lot of elites are not going to vote. In fact, a lot of people are not going to vote. This happened in 2011, this happened in 2015, and now we're witnessing the same thing. Why should we be like this? Why should we be like this? And I've been saying it, and perhaps this is another opportunity to tell Nigerians that the best option for our nascent democracy will probably be option A4. Let us queue behind the candidates of our choice and then elect them. We just count, and simple, and we go back to our homes. We do not need to print ballot papers. And look at it. I mean, that is another painful aspect of our electioneering process. We print ballot papers from, outside the country, South Africa, and what have you, ballot papers. And, I mean, come to think about it, we print INEC sheets in Nigeria. So why can't we print ballot papers in Nigeria? And we don't even need all these things. The freest and the fairest and the most credible elections in Nigeria have been the 1993 elections. And it was option A4. Simple. I mean, you simply queue behind the candidate of your choice. And somebody comes there, counts, and then the results are announced immediately. It's a very simple thing. And that will save us money. It will save us time. It will save us all these hula baloo all over the place. And so I think it is very, very important for us to start addressing these critical issues. We should go back to the drawing board. We should not do a copycat democracy. And that is something that we really need to sit down and decide. We should not do a copycat democracy. That people are going through this process whereby you cast your ballot and you drop it in the ballot box to elect your leaders. Is not compulsory for us to adopt such a system. If it is not working for us, I think we should just sit down and adopt that mechanism, that process that works for us.
Let's take a look at some of the reasons he did give for this postponement. I mean, he said he blamed the weather. You know, that even as at Wednesday or Thursday, some materials couldn't leave Abuja because of the weather, and they couldn't get flights, and they had to use, in his words, slow-moving vehicles to distribute materials. In 2019, I believe that everybody around the world who has a smartphone knows what the weather in Lagos, for example, would be like in the next 10 days. If you're planning something this critical, should weather be a valid excuse, you think? Secondly, I mean, I know we have infrastructural issues in this country where, I mean, we don't have trains, for example. Our roads are not the best. Yes, we do have flight cancellations on the occasion. Looking at our infrastructure deficits, is it easy to plan around it in a way that we avoid these things going forward?
But trust me, somebody is simply not planning somewhere. And that's the truth. We all know that January, February through March, we have Ramadan, we have weather issues, and flights are really going to be affected. And so why is somebody coming to tell me now, or to tell Nigerians at this time, that it was simply because flights, could not do the magic? And that's exactly why we're witnessing this. I think that is actually not acceptable to a lot of people. We all know, see, this thing is there. We know nature would definitely play its own cards. And we know that January, I mean, from December, as a matter of fact, December, January, through March, I mean, we witness all this kind of stuff. So somebody is definitely not planning somewhere. And that should not be an excuse. It is not tenable at all. And going forward, I think that should also become part of the critical analysis that some people in the intelligence unit of the INEC office will be doing, will be talking about. I mean, so it should not be an excuse at all. And if you know that flights are not going to move, or they've not been moving well, I mean, there are other channels, there are other mechanisms through which you can move these election materials to their destination. I mean, why wait for the last minute? That is really unfortunate. That is not acceptable, and I do not think that it is a good way to go. That should not be a good excuse as a matter of fact.
But isn't it obvious now that there's something fundamentally wrong? Like you said, this was an issue in 2011. In 2011 was even worse, because the election had even started in some venues or in some polling units when the announcement came that, voting had to stop. In 2015, it was done with a 6-week extension. Every election we've had in the last 3 cycles now, we've had cancellations or postponements, I beg your pardon. Something is obviously wrong. What do you think it is, and how can we go about starting to fix that?
So, number one, somebody, like I said, is not thinking. Somebody is not thinking. And for me, I think we should be very, very resolute about what we want. Look, there is no excuse on the part of any INEC chairman or INEC official to come back to tell us that, look, I'm sorry, I'm shifting these elections by another so day. And now, more fundamentally, I'm even worried. 1 week might not be enough to do this magic. And I'm worried.
But he swears it will be enough.
Oh, well, that was exactly what they told us, that they were ready to conduct the elections before now, until that very big announcement, on election day. And I am really worried now, and I think this is another opportunity, to address the INEC chairman and by extension, the government of the day. You see, we really need to do something fundamental and critical at this point in time in order for us not to disappoint well-meaning Nigerians again. Because for me, I doubt if 1 week is going to be enough. They are not going to be sleeping now. And I would have said, okay, maybe 2 weeks or even 3 weeks. Let me tell you something. Nigerians are very patient people. They are not bothered about how many days you are postponing this election, but they are bothered about the credibility that would be attached to this process at the end of the day. So if you're saying 1 week, I do not see much difference between what you were walking through and what you were likely to get before now and the aftermath of this 1 week. And let's be very clear. And I think INEC should really, really do the needful now. I watched that press conference yesterday, and a lot of political parties were even asking the INEC chairman whether this 1 week extension, is cast in stone, or they can still amend, or they can still do something around it and all that. And I thought that the INEC chairman would have actually seized that opportunity to, of course, address this issue of the date. And I did see that happen yesterday. And I really want them to just know that Nigerians are watching. And you see, whatever we do, even the international community, you see, a lot of people are watching us. They are watching this process. And, the giant of Africa is actually at play. They want to see how big we are, and then we've been saying, yes, we're the giant of Africa. They really want to see whether we play, in accordance with the rules. And I think they should still sit down and critically assess this moment. Are we sure that 1 week is going to do this magic? I don't think so, as a matter of fact.